Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Broken Brand. And we're just going to do a quick look at what's going on between Epic Games and Google and also Apple. Now, for some of you that don't know, and because it's not getting talked a lot about in the mainstream media, but a couple years ago, Epic decided that the 30% fee that they incurred through all their purchases through their games that they created from Apple was just too much, and they wanted to build their own platform to sell their own games on Apple and Google. Um, they did it, and once Apple realized what they were doing and how the money started dropping a little bit from that area, they put a stop to it. They canceled the developer account, prevented them from trying to create their own platform to sell games on Apple, and Google followed suit shortly after. So basically, any app on your phone has to come through the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. Now, Epic filed lawsuits against both these companies, and and it's still going on. This is probably going to be a large legal battle that's going to go for years until it's finally resolved. I have a feeling that decisions will be made and the implementations and the judgments reached will probably not be implemented for years afterwards. This is just going to be one of those long, drawn out States of the Union type thing because what it really comes down to, simply put, it's antitrust cases. Um, you can only do something on a Google phone if it's through the Google Play Store. You can only do something on an iPhone if it's through the Google, Apple App Store. And all payments are charged, no matter what it is, through them. And they got antitrust judgments. Both companies did in Epic Games' favor, so they have to make changes. But now the appeals have started. And so this is just kind of one of the appeals that's going on in California with Google and Epic Games. And the presiding judge says you're full of it, basically. To Google, he doesn't buy the fact that it's gonna compromise user privacy and all these other things. And I really do think that Epic Games did something that should have been done a long time ago, but we're now just getting to it. I don't think anybody had the momentum or the cash to do something like this. Epic does because it has a huge catalog of games that it's created, most notably Fortnite, which has been a powerhouse in the gaming industry um, on multiple platforms. I mean, Fortnite streams are still some of the largest streams on anything like Kick or Twitch, YouTube. These are some of the largest gaming streams because they keep doing things and doing different seasons and adding new guns, new skins, new abilities, new all this stuff. It's constantly changing and constantly evolving, and so it's a game that's going to be going for quite a while. It hasn't really lost its following. I think it did dip for a while, but Fortnite is still going strong on all platforms. Um, I played it a few times. I'm not good at it. I'll admit it, but I do enjoy playing because it's fun. So let's, because basically, what's his name? Judge Donato just says, I lost the quote now. Google's attempting to show a terrifying world of chaos if these proposed remedies aren't implemented. And let's just open it up. I had it open, but look, here's what the remedies are. And I don't think they are very drastic, in my opinion, but I'm not a legal expert. I'm not an antitrust lawyer, nothing like that. This is just from a casual gamer's perspective. Quit telling carriers they have to have those app stores on the phones. Uh, no more sharing revenues with carriers and phone manufacturers. Uh, things like equal access to the Android API for all developers. That's a big one. So indie developers can develop apps to put on the phone, but they do have to comply with the standards to like any software company would that wants to build a game for Switch or PlayStation or PC. There's guidelines that have to be followed so it doesn't wreck the operating system. I mean, that's fair to me. Google to allow third-party app stores into Google Play for 6 years with no fees. This one might be a stickler. This one will be. I'm kind of thinking they put that in there for negotiation tactics, to be honest. Um, and this is the big one: no discrimination or retaliation against any app or developer for choosing to use alternative billing systems. Because if you look at it from Google and Apple's standpoint, they're about to lose a large amount of revenue, and they're trying to stop that. However, they are monopolies for their hardware. You know, in the console area, yes, indie developers can do that. You can buy indie games on the Nintendo eShop right now that are cheap, that are fun to play, work with the Switch. They're not made by Nintendo. They're not manufactured by Nintendo, but they adhere to the hardware specifications and things like that that allow them to be playable on that device. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that it's kind of like, well, I think this is a good thing. But Google and Apple are not going to let it go because it's going to be a huge chunk from the revenue. And I understand from their point of view, they're wrong. They're trying to protect their interests. But in the interest of the consumer and of the people, we need a free market. And applications on smartphones is not a free market. It really isn't. No matter what you do, you have to pay homage and you have to pay recompense to Google or Apple for your product. And that's why indie developers or some do real well when they get just a great game that does well, and some of these smaller games that just, oh, we'd love for it to stay on, but we don't make enough money from this game to continue upkeep and updates. There's games that just disappear between OS versions because they don't have the money coming in to their studio to change and grow and develop their code to comply with the new OS standard. So boom, they're out of the App Store. And so from an indie point, absolutely this needs to be done. And from a consumer point, this needs to be done. But we're going to have Google and Apple fighting it tooth and nail all the way through. So we just have to be like, well, I don't think they're going to win. I don't think Apple and Google are going to win this fight. Thankfully, this is a fight they shouldn't win. But it's going to be a long, drawn out fight. I don't know how else to put it, but it's just going to be, yeah. I mean, there's so much around this. I'm just keeping an eye on it just because I'm kind of curious what's happening. I'm not an expert in this. This is just a casual look, an overview of what's going on in these lawsuits with Epic Games. And I do hope they win for all those indie creators out there that want to that have a vision, that want to create something and put it out to the public for other people to enjoy their idea, their creativity, but are being stifled because of other people. That shouldn't be something we do. That's my opinion. You can agree with me or disagree with me. I do think Apple and Google do hold the keys to the kingdom, essentially, and they need to drop it. They need to allow more people to be able to create and continue to create, because all these app companies are not multi-million dollar companies. You're not Comtuous, you're not Epic Games, you're not any of these other huge app developers out there. Just not. And some of the fun games are from these small indie games that are fun to do. And some games are sticking around just because they have a cult following, and the backlash of them not continuing to do the upkeep on the maintenance of their code would make their entire studio look bad and make some of these programmers look bad. And you don't want that, because these are just people trying to put their idea and their creativeness out into the world. And that's something we need more of, not something that creating an app, a game, anything like that, and bring it to the market should not be pay to win. Simply put, that's how I feel. Shouldn't be pay to win. It should be put it out. If you win, you get paid. But that's my opinion. Who knows what's going to happen? This is probably going to be years and years of legal battles and back and forth, and who knows what's going to happen. Let me know what your ideas are. If you can school me a little bit more on some of the legal issues with this, I'd appreciate it. I don't mind learning and being corrected if I'm wrong in somewhere. So, until next time, my friends, as always, I love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it.